Hi there, I just want to try and do a video, and I want to talk about the benefits of going within. Um, yes, going within, and there's a self-suggestion that I say to myself, and it was from a lady on YouTube, and I didn't look for it. And when things like, if I'm like on the internet and something comes up and it's something that resonates, I look at it because I feel like it's meant to be there. It just manifests. It has manifested. And I watched this lady, and she said, say to yourself that I am enough. And ever since I watched her, I've been saying this, and I've been doing self-suggestions now for a few years, and it's a beautiful way to look at yourself. And when you're deciding to just go within, what you're doing is you're saying to your mind, you're saying to your awareness, you're saying to yourself, I am enough just as I am, and within me is all I need to go. That's what you're really saying. That's what you're really telling yourself. And that's such a beautiful way, a loving way, a pure way to look at yourself. And this is what this does, is it's so healing to look at yourself this way, and it purifies you when you're doing that, because you're constantly thinking in your mind and thinking to yourself that you are enough, and that within you is the only place you need to go. And then this because you're telling yourself this, you're then thinking that you're perfect just as you are, even your flaws are perfect. And then you're seeing the world based on this perspective you have within you. You see, everything comes from within us. Because it's like something simple, like the way I'm thinking right now, or the way I'm viewing the world or someone, is based on how I feel within me. It's like in this picture, you got a mirror there. It's all a mirror, you see? It's all a mirror, and the mirror is based on how you feel within you. And then what you project outward, the feelings that you project, is, everything's based on how you feel within you. And, I had depression till the age of 28. I had the unexpected spiritual awakening at 24. But it took me a few more years to get rid of depression. I haven't had depression now since the age of 28. And I'm 33 on my birthday. So, and how did I get rid of that? And I had depression, I had suicidal thoughts. Didn't used to tell everyone. I would, be in a state where, when it was really bad, where I just couldn't talk anymore. And sometimes it would be days, and it would be up and down all the time. And the depression used to come because I've always been a compulsive person by nature. I'm like that now, but it's more a positive way, more truthful way. But I used to get depressed, very depressed, where I couldn't think, couldn't do nothing. And that depression healed when I was 28 because I had this unexpected spiritual awakening. But it wasn't really it was unexpected, but it was a choice. I basically had the choice to go carry on with the way I was living my life, or to go within. And I had enough. And in this having enough, it was such a powerful feeling of having enough, that the within thing started to happen. And I started to, it was like an animal instinctive thing. And that's why people in spiritual awakening, you see some lasses on the internet saying that they have these orgasmic feelings. The reason that's happening is because you're returning to your animal. That's what spiritual awakening is. That's why when I had this awakening, it was like an animal instinctive thing. It wasn't like I planned it. It was like, because I had enough, and really had enough, the animal came out. And everything becomes like that. And then I went in this path of truth, of knowing, an instinctive knowing that it was the truth that was going to save me, and that going with that all the time and facing the deepest truths. And then what happened is the depression started to fade, because I was never going by truth before. This is why I was depressed. This is what makes people depressed. It's because they're lying to themselves. Once you start to become the truth, what happened to me is it faded, and then when I was 28, it went away. Faded and went away, and then so I haven't had it since. And even now in stressful situations, I'm able to put myself in a state of mindfulness very, very quickly in a stressful situation. And that's it, you know. The most scariest thing for someone is to face their own emotions. That's the scariest thing for someone to ever do. And this is why it takes, I feel like what I had, a situation where you've had enough and the animal instinct part has to come through before you'll awaken. The reason is because most people are terrified. It's everything subconscious. And the subconscious part is terrified of facing these feelings. You know, a person that has a spiritual awakening usually will be someone who is very miserable, very depressed, and it takes for them to really have a moment where the awakening is almost like the only choice. But you also do get people that just stay depressed. You get some people that just kill themselves. You see, not everyone makes the right choice. Not everyone makes the choice to awaken. Who am I to say what the right or wrong choice is? But again, it's a choice, isn't it? You know, some people just go ahead and kill themselves. This is a horrible reality of life. I've known people that have done this. Instead of looking within. And this is why I've got a lot of self-respect now. I've got a lot of self-love. I didn't used to have that. The reason that's happened is because of what I've faced in this spiritual awakening. Because I didn't think I had anything about me. But the awakening showed me that I was a lot deeper than I realized. And so what comes with that is a lot of self-respect. When you've got respect, you have love. Without respect, there's no love. And so this is what awakening is. It takes a lot of courage to awaken. I mean, spiritual awakening now in the spiritual community is the biggest thing going. Everyone wants to be awake. Everyone wants to be woke. They all want that. But it takes, you know, that moment where you really have that decision, but some people don't choose it. You know, it's one of these. Spiritual awakening is a miracle that comes from within you. And it's like I keep saying that within, I mean, people have spoke to me on the internet and have told me that what I'm saying is what Jesus Christ said, Buddha said, what all people from thousands of years ago, I don't know because I don't follow religions, but they tell me that I'm just saying the same things, but no one listens. The only people that do it that are the ones that have had the awakenings. Everyone else is just like following everybody. But you can follow Jesus Christ, but you're not going to become like Jesus by following him, because Jesus Christ everyone has their own unique path, you see. I saw a stupid post today on the internet and it said, don't go within, it'll make you depressed, but follow Jesus. No, don't do that, because whilst you're doing that, you're just running away from your problems. They're still going to be there. You can have any lover, you can follow anyone, you can have as many kids as you want, you can do anything, but it's not going to escape your issues. The only thing that's going to, you need to find the solution, and the solution is to face your problems head on, and don't look for some refuge to escape the problem. So it's all about facing your issues, head on, which means you go within and you feel your feelings, you let your soul lead the way. Like the quote Rumi said, my soul is my guide. You know, what I say is my soul is my mentor. You know, I am my guide. Within me is my guide. You know, I am my mentor, I am my greatest inspiration. I am my everything. And this is how I've healed from depression, because I chose to do that. Because I saw no other option. But some people with no other option choose to kill themselves. So again, it's one of those crazy life things where you could choose that, you could choose the other thing. It's not better or worse, it's just choices. And I am just trying to pass this on because to try and help other people awaken. That's why I'm trying to share my story of what happened to me, so that people know that I'm not just some person that has always had it good, that I'm somebody that had that choice of wake up or carry on being depressed. And what I realized is, see, before the awakening, I realized something. No one gives a shit. This is ultimately what awakened me. I realized that people don't love you, Sean, because they don't love themselves. Most people that have children don't love their children. And this is spoken of by psychologists, not just me, psychologists as well, because they don't love themselves. Everything, like I said earlier in the video, what we project outward, our love is based on what we feel within us. So this is why most parents will buy their kids a 5G phone, because they don't care. You see, they tell them, so, oh, I'm doing it because it'll make them happy, but you're not doing it for their health. If you loved them, you would do things for their health. So they don't love them. And that's because within them, there's no love within them. Their parents probably didn't love them. See, this is what I'm saying right now is authenticity. It's absolute truth. This is the kind of truths that I tell myself. Now, when I first started being this way, it was hard. I would be hurt, But then I started to heal past things. Because once you got the truth, then you start to heal. But when you don't have the truth, your psyche knows when you're lying to yourself. It knows when you're not being real. It knows when you're not, when you're lying. But most people, everyone, what we project and what love we give is based on the love we have within. So most people they're just having kids because they're bored. Right? When you get people that have had one or two, they probably love their kids. But when you get 4 or 5 kids, usually, not every time, but usually it's a situation of they don't love themselves, they're just bored, and so they're just breeding. I've knew people like this. And 20, 30 years later, they really get depressed because they think, oh God, I should have done this with my life. I should have done the other thing. I could have been a better parent. And they miss this because they chose to do the easy option, was to have the kid, have a nice baby for a little while, and then when that grows up, have another baby. And this is the way most people live their lives, because it's easier, they think, than actually facing their problems. But if you face your problems now, when you do have a child, you can be a great parent, and then you will make a better person when you take someone into this reality. That's why within is so important. And people that don't want to go within are people that are running from themselves. That's what it means. If someone isn't wanting to go within, it means that they're running from what's within. You see? They're running from their emotions. And these emotions that you're running from, if you're running from them, they will just manifest in some other form. It could be anything. It could be a terrible situation. It could be a horrible relationship. It could be your partner might have an affair. Something will happen that it always manifests. What's within always manifests itself. That's why some people manifest horrible situations in their reality, but it's from within that it manifests. It's like that. Everything comes from within. And the solution is to go within. Like I say, it's to start opening your heart up to that, meditate upon that, and start letting stillness and that within lead the way. And start opening up to your feelings, your truths. And then you start to feel better. Then you start to have clarity about things and insight into things that you were asking before. You didn't have the clarity because you were chasing outward before. But once you start to look within, then you start having that insight and clarity onto where the problems are, and then you find the solution. And this is how I healed my depression, and just about 5 years now. But I'm just going to end the video there. If you're watching, you're meant to watch it. Everything falls to divine order and timing. Thank you for watching. Thank you.